think you need to get to the point where you can make a case that is so clear that it makes it untenable for the person to remain in office. I personally, and I've said already that the processes were followed, but I personally have a problem with the fact that, for instance, the issues upon which she was removed were audit issues. Okay? Audit issues about per diem and the payment of certain allowances. And clearly there was a misunderstanding within that system of how that should be applied. My point is, when you have a situation like this, one, it's not called to her business. Two, they have an accountant there. They have processes there. And it is important that Justice Sophia Akufo has come up to say the things she said, because I said them earlier. But who am I? She's saying it should have more weight. These things do not rise to the point where they warrant the removal of the Chief Justice of any country. When you do that, you weaken the state. Why do I say that? You have three arms of government. In a democracy, the justices are the supervisors of the realm. In a democracy, the judiciary is the final say in everything. The president can do something, the judiciary will set it aside. The head of the judiciary is the Chief Justice. Parliament can do something. Our parliament is not sovereign. We've gone through that. That was one of the issues here. And the Chief Justice or the judiciary can set it aside. It is the necessary arrangement. So that's a very powerful position. So, even in criminal cases, when you have doubt, you give the person accused the benefit of the doubt. When you are dealing with very serious things like the removal of a Chief Justice, I think where there is a doubt, you have to give that benefit of the doubt.
Do you think that there was any point of
misconduct? You know, you have to derive certain things. Something happened. Question. What happened? Was it misconduct? Was it a mistake? Okay? Those questions.
Mistake on the part of who exactly?
Exactly my point. And if you come to the point of, was it a mistake? Whose mistake? Is it the person who gave the per diem or the person who requested it? Because you see, in the judicial system or in any proper system, there will be officers there, accountants, heads of finance and whatever, who know the rules. So if the Chief Justice, for instance, says that, give me $10,000 to go and buy food for my cat, somebody in the system will say, you are not permitted to do so. A, B, C, D, E, and you'll be guided. Okay, so I'm saying this is a judge who has practiced for over 2 decades and her place to become the chief judge of this country. All right, removing that person, whether you like her or not, should not be done lightly. And I'm saying where you have a situation where some other persons clearly will be part of the decision making in the issue of whether she's entitled to a certain per diem, how much of it she's entitled to, who it should go to, where there is no clarity about whether she can travel with wife or husband or child or whatever. These things are what audits are for. Let me finish.
Okay.
And when you commit these infractions in a normal situation, and they happen every day, everywhere, okay, when the auditors come, they flag it. When they flag it, management questions will be asked. Okay? And in most cases, ask the auditors, where such infractions are established, okay, the person who is involved is asked to pay back. My point is, there are many ways of dealing with a thing like this. Okay? So, when you say, is it a mere witch hunt? I've said before that they went through the processes. But you ask me, does this rise to the point where you remove a Chief Justice to the point where she loses all entitlements? We all should reflect soberly on these things. Because what happens today will be a measure of what we do tomorrow. And if we continue this race to the bottom, I told you about Inigo Montoya.
Yes.
Something happened, and that's why this is happening. I was not happy with, sorry, I'm going on, but let me land properly. With the removal of Charlotte Osei. Okay? For many reasons. But not something which people forget. Imani, of which I'm senior vice president, has had a running fight with the EC for about 10 years now. So we had our issues there. Okay? But again, you have an issue where that principle, those issues, were not necessarily the reasons why somebody was removed. Today, as we speak, we are at charge. Okay? I want that process to be gone through and a proper position established. Then if somebody is going to be removed, fine. But when you have a situation where politicians jump on it and write, then you make the law an ass. And then the rich ride it, and it tramples the poor. So look, I can go on, but I think the point I'm making is we all should be very sober in dealing with it, because what goes around comes around.
But they talk about the lack of clarity of who she can travel with and so on. I think there's no confusion in that instance, is there? As to who she can travel with and the amount of per diem they can take. There was really no confusion in that instance. And if there is an act that contravenes that process and what she should have done, occupying that high office of Chief Justice and being an example to the judiciary, what should have been the penal consequence?
So see, sorry to use the legal terms, but it explains. In criminal law, and this is not criminal law, but we should, we have mens rea. You had a mind to commit the crime. Okay? We should import those principles, even though it's not there. Did the Chief Justice know that I am not supposed to do this and this and this and this, and that she had a mind to steal that money and misappropriate it, and proceeded to do so?
Well, the committee says she cannot claim ignorance of the process.
So that's the point I'm making. You see? So, like I'm saying, the processes were going through. But the Chief Justice was explaining that what happened was a mistake. That is you are saying she cannot claim ignorance.
No, I'm just asking. On the mistake, yes, acknowledge.
Yes.
On the part of who? And who should bear the burden of the mistake?
But that's the point. The point is, okay, assuming that we trust that the Chief Justice of the land was speaking the truth, and therefore she made a mistake. Question, who should have caught that mistake? Because you don't just get up and go and take money. She requisitioned it, somebody approved it, somebody paid it, and then she took it and applied it. So my question is, what auditors are there for? And in many examples, when you find these kinds of errors and mistakes, you have a management letter, etc. It is established, and the normal thing that is done, okay, except where the person had a mens rea to steal money and she stole it, the normal thing that is done is says, hey, please, this thing was a mistake, you shouldn't have done it, the whole system failed, and that is why this money has gone. Why don't we hear Public Accounts Committee? And then you ask the person to pay back, even with penalties, all well and good. I'm saying that office should not go down on some of these things which are non-core to a judge, especially the Chief Justice.
Well, so on this, because you see, the point that, in fact, it follows on the position that the former Chief Justice took about the...
Like I'm saying, all well-meaning people must approach this matter with a lot of sober reflection. And if you ask me, how did it strike me? I wasn't surprised.
You weren't surprised?
Not at all.
Why is that?
Anybody who understands what's going on is not surprised by this. This is what I call railroading. When I say railroading, it means, a railroad leads you from one point to the other. It is the rail that decides where you're going to end. Okay? A year or so ago, when this process started, I put something on my Facebook. It's just a cultural issue. It's from a movie. Somebody who went to kill somebody, and his name is Inigo Montoya. And when he met the man, he says, my name is Inigo Montoya, prepared to die because you killed my father. The point is, me and you, we don't know each other. Because of what happened the last time, I will take your life. Now, it's a serious thing to take somebody's life. There must be really good reasons for it. Now, the question is it a good reason or not? On one end, you say, yeah, it's a good reason because he said you killed my father. Another end is like, what problem is there between the two of us? Your topic is asking, is it a mere witch hunt or justified course of action? You'll be surprised. Two things can be true at the same time. Okay? And I'm saying sober reflection because we all need to take it from every angle. The reason why we need to take it from every angle is because we have embarked on a race to the bottom as a country. And if we don't stop it, we will break this democracy. Democracies are very fragile. And I'm saying all this before I do the analysis I'm coming to do.
Right.
Very fragile, and on one issue they can break. Okay? On one decision they can break. So somebody can just come up, overtake this country. We've seen all the coups and the examples they give. And then 19 years of military rule. Today in the US, you have 250 years of democracy with all the experiences they've gone through. And one election is threatening everything. Democracies are fragile. They must be preserved and they must be protected. So if you ask me, is it a mere witch hunt or is it a necessary course of action? It is not a mere witch hunt. Why do I say so? The constitutional processes were followed. I don't see a breach of the constitutional process as in the letter of the Constitution, how it's written. So I can't say it's a mere witch hunt. But you ask me again, is it a mere witch hunt? Yes, it is.
What do you mean?
I mean so because here you have a situation where somebody had a premeditated outcome, which they stated publicly. We all heard people from the NDC, including the president, say, we don't trust this Chief Justice for ABC, the reasons are a different matter, and that we cannot work with her. I've, paraphrased the things I said. They were public, so we don't need to debate that. My point is this. When you have that kind of premeditated animus against the person, in a democracy like ours, we should be careful not to craft laws that give vehicle to such things. All right? So it's a witch hunt because the person has told you this is what I'm going to do, and then they use the law to execute on that. I worry about that. So, and you come to, wow.
The concern that was raised was about the judiciary at the time in itself.
Hold on.
Not specifically about the Chief Justice in herself and her person.
So all of us, like I said, soberly have to look at all the facts. Yes, it was generally the judiciary, but who is the target? Okay, so I'm saying you had a situation where the person who was gunning to become president, who now is president, was leading a group of people who articulated clearly that we did not like what was going on and we are going to come after them. Now, I don't begrudge them. You'll be surprised. I have my own issues against the system and some of the things that I think she should have done that she didn't do. All right? But my worry is on the bigger issue. The bigger issue is if somebody premeditates that they are going to take a certain action, we should be in a situation where that action does not lend itself generally, okay? Or the law does not lend itself for the person to execute that action exactly as they determine. Because, you see, essentially law is about limiting, or constitution is about limiting power. So I worry, which is why I've said that we have embarked on a race to the bottom. If this goes on, every president will walk in, clear the Chief Justice, clear the security heads, and bring in their own people. That is not what the Constitution is for. All right? And if you go, you have a situation where, look, the issues that were put up, in my view, were debatable. They were not proven beyond reasonable doubt. And yes, you can say it's not a criminal trial. But when you are dealing with the high office of the Chief Justice of the land, I think.
But the fact that we know ministers, look, Ekufuado's government, people were buying houses. One very loud minister, he bought 2 houses in cantonments one day. Another one, I don't know where he bought, but like 4 homes in East Legon.
You said all this you are investigating.
Yes.
Sorry, you are gathering.
Yes.
To go to court.
Yes.
I just wanted to put out.
So the point, yes, we will come to all of that. Oh, as for the minister who bought 4 houses in East Legon, it's even online. Google it, you will see.
Okay.
And there is Accra FM did the story, the minister, right, who bought 4 houses and the rest. How much is his salary? All those things, right? So we get that. But we can't say because people are getting away with millions of dollars, all right, and they've not been caught. Ipso facto, if we catch somebody with 1 Ghana cedi, then let the person walk. That's not an argument to make.
Okay.
That is not an argument. So now you're coming that is lawyer Braku says that the threshold is being lowered. It is not. We've said that the policy says when you are traveling on a private visit, go with state security. Lawyer Braku, the Justice Torkono, when she went on the private visit, did she go with the state security? No. So it's simple and short. That's what we call, you are a lawyer, you know it, open and shut. Open and shut case. She didn't go with the state security. Bought tickets for her daughter, bought ticket for her husband, per diem for daughter, per diem for husband. Altogether, 337,000.
What lessons should we learn from this?
Accountability.
That is what we should
Let me give you another example.
Citizen Daniel Ofori. The emphasis is on Daniel Ofori's petition, Remember, that's one of three. Now, it follows that after considering the petition and the recommendations thereof, and the evidence, the committee found that the grounds of stated misbehavior under Article 1461 had been established and recommended her removal from office. Under Article 1469, which we will see shortly, the president is required to act in accordance with the committee's recommendation. So this is all what the president did, acted in accordance with the committee's recommendation. The chair of this committee, this 5-member committee that was established, Justice Gabriel Scott Poamang, during the presentation of the report to the president, said a few words to respond to some media publications as well about the work of the committee. I want us to take a listen to Justice Gabriel Scott Poamang